The morning breeze was crisp over Addis Ababa Bole International Airport. The sun had barely begun to rise, painting streaks of orange across the clouds. Terminal 2 buzzed softly, passengers murmuring, luggage wheels humming over polished tiles. Among them stood a man, alone, dressed in plain slacks and a weathered navy blue jacket. No entourage, no shining shoes, no luggage beyond a single backpack. He waited quietly near Gate 19, reading a small dog-eared book. Most travelers paid him no mind. He looked like a humble local returning home from work abroad. But this man was anything but ordinary. His name was Daniel Bukele, and he was the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Daniel had just concluded a high-level African Union summit in Kigali. His convoy had dropped him off discreetly, just as he liked it. No grand motorcade, no press. That's how Daniel preferred to move, among the people, with humility, almost invisible. As boarding began for flight ET-302 to Bahir Dar, Daniel stepped forward like any other traveler. The gate agent checked his ticket and offered a subtle nod. Seat 1A, first class. He walked aboard, offered a gentle salam to the crew, and took his window seat without a word. A few minutes later, the calm began to crack. A tall, broad-shouldered foreigner stormed up the jet bridge, flanked by two assistants. He wore a tailored suit, gold cufflinks, and the entitlement of someone used to being obeyed. Mr. Jean-Luc Morel, a senior executive from an international agribusiness firm, one deeply involved in controversial land acquisitions across Ethiopia, was furious. "There's a mistake," he barked at the gate agent. "I always fly first class, always." The agent, nervous, explained, "Sir, first class is full." "That's unacceptable," he snapped. "Move someone, now." The staff hesitated. His assistants whispered threats of calling the Minister of Commerce. Eventually, a senior flight attendant, an older European woman named Elena, was summoned to resolve the issue. Elena stepped onto the plane, scanning the cabin. Her eyes landed on Daniel, seated calmly with a book in hand. No Rolex, no briefcase, just an unbothered black man in a faded jacket. To her, he didn't fit the image of a first-class passenger. She approached. "Sir," she said sweetly, "may I see your ticket?" Daniel offered it without hesitation. She glanced at it, frowned slightly, then forced a smile. "We may need to make some quick adjustments for operational reasons. Would you mind relocating to economy? You'll be compensated." Daniel closed his book slowly. "Why me?" he asked, soft-spoken but clear. "No particular reason, sir," she said. "There's always a reason," he replied gently, then looked her in the eye. "Is it because I don't look like I belong here?" Passengers turned. Some glanced, others froze mid-sentence. Elena flinched, but recovered. "This is for operational needs, sir. Please don't make this difficult." Daniel smiled faintly. "I'm not making it difficult. I'm sitting in my assigned seat." Elena stood rigid, her pride bruised. She retreated and began whispering with crew members. Then she tried another man, an elderly Ethiopian professor in 1B, then another. It became obvious. Every passenger of color in first class was being re-evaluated. The murmurs grew. A young Ethiopian-American woman in business class stood up. "What's going on?" she demanded. Elena ignored her. At that moment, the aircraft doors closed. A quiet fell. Then, just before the safety briefing, a motorcade appeared on the tarmac. SUVs, soldiers, a national flag waving in the wind. Passengers pressed against their windows. Elena turned pale. Two uniformed guards boarded the plane swiftly and marched down the aisle. The lead officer stopped in front of Daniel's seat and snapped into a salute. "Prime Minister, welcome home." You could have heard a pin drop. Elena gasped audibly. The French executive, still fuming in economy, blinked in disbelief. Daniel stood slowly, calmly, and nodded to the officer. "Thank you." The officer turned to Elena. "You are under investigation for discriminatory conduct against the head of government. You will exit the plane with us." "What?" she whispered. I didn't know." "You didn't need to know," the officer cut in. "You needed to treat people with respect." The CEO was next. "And this man," Daniel said softly, "believes wealth is worth more than citizenship. He insulted my people, threatened my staff, and tried to bribe his way onto my country's soil. He, too, will come with you." The passengers clapped, quietly at first, then louder, then standing. Daniel nodded once more, collected his backpack, and exited the aircraft. Outside, the sun was rising fully now, bright and unflinching over the land he loved. That evening, in a press briefing broadcast across the continent, Daniel addressed the world. "In Ethiopia, greatness is not worn on your wrist. It's carried in your conduct. We rise by lifting others, not by stepping on them. This is not just a matter of race or class or power. This is a matter of dignity, and we will not compromise ours ever again." The video went viral. Millions watched, and a new phrase trended across Africa. Respect is the new power.